let's talk about competition. Because when you think about who your company is up against, chances are you're only seeing a fraction of the picture. And the threats you never see coming, yeah, those are the ones that can really do some damage.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a question. I want you to think about a big airline. Who's their number one competitor? I mean, the obvious answer is another airline, right? It just makes sense. But what if their biggest threat isn't even in the air?
Believe it or not, it's tech, like Zoom. And the reason for this is actually pretty wild. It turns out that a whopping 70% of an airline's revenue comes from business travelers. And why do they fly? Meetings. So when a platform like Zoom comes along and makes virtual meetings not just possible, but easy and effective, well, they're directly chipping away at the very foundation of that high-profit business model.
Now, this isn't just some theory. Let's look at a real-world example, Duolingo. So picture this. It's 2023, and Duolingo, the language learning giant, has hit a bit of a wall. Downloads are fine. People are still getting the app. But the number of people actually using it every day, it's stalled. Engagement just flatlined. And the weird part was they couldn't figure out why. Their direct competitors weren't launching anything new. So what was going on?
Well, the answer to Duolingo's problem and the airline's problem lies with what we call the invisible competitor. It's all about learning to spot those hidden forces that are fighting for your customers' most valuable assets, their money, their time, and most importantly, their attention.
So let's break this down with a framework. Level 1 is the obvious one. This is where most companies live and breathe. These are your direct competitors, the other guys offering basically the same thing you are. For Duolingo, that's other language apps, like Babbel or Busuu. It's the easiest level to see, but it's also the most limited view.
Okay, moving on to level 2. The circle gets a little wider. These are your indirect competitors. They solve the same basic problem, but in a totally different way. So if you just need a fast translation of a menu in another country, you're not going to open Duolingo. You're probably going to use Google Translate. It gets the job done right then and there, even if it's not actually teaching you anything.
Now level 3 is where we stop talking about the product and start talking about the customer's wallet. These are budget competitors. They're fighting for the same piece of the pie. Think about it. If someone has a little self-improvement budget set aside, a Duolingo subscription isn't just competing with another language app. It's competing with a Python course on Udemy or a marketing class on Coursera.
And that brings us to the big one, level 4. This is the real game changer. Attention competitors. This is the mental leap you have to make. In a world where there are only 24 hours in a day, Duolingo isn't just fighting Babbel for your time. It's fighting Spotify for your commute. It's fighting Apple Plus for your evening. It's fighting the endless, hypnotic scroll of Instagram Reels for those 15 minutes you have free. The real war isn't over language learning, it's over your discretionary time.
So once you realize the battlefield is that much bigger and more complicated, how in the world do you actually see what's going on out there? You're going to need a much more modern toolkit to scan this new environment.
Now, the foundation still starts with some of the classics. Frameworks like Pestle Analysis help you map out the big picture stuff. The political, economic, and social trends that are shaping everything. And Porter's 5 Forces helps you get a handle on the power dynamics inside your industry. You can think of these as your map and compass. They're essential before you even start the journey.
But let's be honest, those classic methods can be pretty slow. To move at the speed today's market demands, you need a supercharger, and that's where artificial intelligence comes in. But it also comes with a big, flashing warning sign. I love this quote. AI is like that confident friend who will give you an answer to anything, but you're never sure if it's right or wrong. It's brilliant at crunching insane amounts of data, but it doesn't have human judgment. You have to treat it like a partner, a brilliant one, but one you still have to double-check.
The true magic of AI, really, is its ability to take all the noise of the internet, all that raw, messy customer feedback, and transform it into something clear, something you can actually use to make a decision.
I mean, just look at this. This is the kind of stuff that AI can process in minutes. Thousands upon thousands of App Store reviews, Reddit threads, YouTube comments. A team of humans would need weeks, maybe months, to sift through this. And you can immediately see patterns. People love the gamification, but they're getting annoyed with the ads and feel like the content is too shallow once they get past the basics.
And here is the payoff. An AI can take all of that unstructured chatter and instantly structure it into a classic SWOT analysis. Just like that, it confirms that gamification is a core strength. It highlights content depth as a weakness. It pinpoints a huge opportunity in creating more content for intermediate learners. And it flags an emerging threat. People are talking about trying out new AI-powered tutors. And again, this really happens. Look at Netflix. Their algorithms didn't just notice that K-dramas were popular. They spotted really specific patterns, like people in different countries binge-watching the same shows and social media chatter exploding. That insight, buried in the data, gave them the confidence to invest over $1 billion in Korean content, which led directly to Squid Game, the biggest show they've ever had. That's what scanning for hidden trends can do.
So how does this actually work behind the scenes? Well, it uses something called agentic AI to create a kind of assembly line. It's not just one AI doing everything. The first AI agent goes out and collects all the data. A second agent reads it all and analyzes the sentiment. A third one takes that analysis and starts mapping out the competitive landscape. And finally, a fourth agent identifies the gaps and opportunities before handing its report off to a human to make the final strategic call.
Okay, so this is all great, but how do you actually use it? What does the new playbook for winning on this unseen battlefield really look like?
All right, here it is, a 4-step playbook. First, you have to consciously sit down and map out your competition across all 4 of those levels we talked about. Second, you combine the high-level view from a framework like Pestle with the on-the-ground reality you get from sentiment analysis. Third, you build a real AI-human partnership. Let the machines do the heavy lifting, but have your experts make the final call. And finally, and this is so important, you have to make this a continuous, always-on process, not just some report that gathers dust on a shelf.
So if you're going to remember just 3 things from all this, make it these. 1. Your biggest threat tomorrow is probably a level 4 attention competitor today. 2. Use AI for what it's good at, scale, but always, always trust human judgment to validate it. And 3. In today's market, constantly scanning your environment isn't just a nice to have, it's a basic requirement for survival.
Really, it all boils down to a fundamental shift in how you think. The old way was to obsess over your level 1 rivals, the ones that look just like you. The new way is to realize that your biggest future threats are probably hiding in plain sight right now, disguised as something that's just competing for a few minutes of your customer's day.
So I'll leave you with this one last question to think about. You probably know your direct competitors like the back of your hand, but do you really know who or what is competing for your customer's most precious, non-renewable resource, their time and attention? Because finding the answer to that is everything.